And Squad. It's me, Zan Harrell, back again another day to give you guys some more information about the importance of prepping, being prepared, and just staying informed, not just by your mainstream media, which to me they water down things and they have their own agendas that they push, and it's not for the betterment of people in the masses. So I'd like to talk to you about being prepared for more lockdowns. Now, they're experiencing lockdowns in the UK now. I mean, unprecedented. It's amazing what those people are going through. I have some video footage I'd like to show you guys so you guys can look at it yourselves. And also in El Paso, Texas. Now, in the UK, they're going as far as to a lot of restrictions. But the thing that really got to me as a prepper was when they go to the grocery store, they've actually taped and sealed off areas that these residents and consumers cannot purchase. I mean, they're saying that it's a non-essential product, so they can't purchase it. And things that they are allowed to purchase, they can only get like an item or so. I'm like, oh, wow. I pay attention to these lockdowns in all these areas just in case they try and pull that where we are here in America, in wherever area you are in. So I would suggest you guys, we're in for the fight of our lives. This year has been a year of just situation after situation, incident after incident. It's been non-stop. You guys check this video out and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
Now, Brendan O'Neill is a great friend of this show. He's spoken to us over the years about Brexit, about Boris, and he's there now as lockdown lunacy gets even more out of control in Britain. Boris seems to have lost the plot. Lots to chat about. He stayed up especially late at night on a Saturday night to chat to you here on Outsiders. Brendan O'Neill, welcome back to Outsiders. How are you, mate?
Hi, Ryan. How's it going?
Yeah, good. You look like you're in lockdown there. Have they started turning the lights off across the country? Is that what's happening?
It's incredibly dark around here, yeah. I'm keeping my lights low.
Now, Brendan, tell us the latest. We've seen some footage of shops and shelves. I think Wales seems to be your version of Victoria, where they've gone completely bonkers. But tell us what is happening in Britain at the moment and what it's like for the public there. We've just got some footage up there of these shops where they've crossed off everything. You're not allowed to have certain products. It's totalitarian rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, the lockdown in Wales is psychotic. There's no other word for it. It is absolutely deranged. Wales has completely locked down for the next 17 days, and it's extreme. You know, you can't leave the country, you can't go into the country, people can't go to work, all non-essential businesses have been shut down. And the most perverse thing they've done is that they have gone into supermarkets and taped off all non-essential items, which includes books, apparently, birthday cards, clothing. They've decreed in their infinite wisdom, the government of Wales, that these are non-essential items. And this is the situation we've now reached. We've now reached the situation where bureaucrats are dictating to the people what is essential and what is non-essential, and is stopping them, preventing them from buying books. They've essentially banned books in Wales. Quite how buying a John Grisham novel is supposedly going to help spread COVID-19 is a complete mystery to everyone. But this is the lunacy of the lockdown, and it's getting worse and worse.
So, Brendan, I'd hazard a guess that it's a fairly left-leaning government in Wales, is it? Would I be correct there?
Well, there's lots of Labour Party figures in Wales, and they're in control of a lot of the country. And but you know, Wales is only in a more extreme version of what's going on around the UK. Manchester and Liverpool, two of our great cities, now have really stringent measures. In London, you can't mix with other households. There's a 10 p.m. curfew on pubs and restaurants, and the problem is that the second wave, all the evidence suggests that the second wave of COVID-19 is far weaker than the first wave. You know, everyone says hospitalizations and deaths are going up in the UK. That's true, but they're going up very slowly. This is nothing compared to what we went through in April. And yet the economy is being shut down, normal life is being shut down, and the long-term consequences of that, I think, is going to be worse than the long-term consequences of COVID-19.
James.
Putting aside the question, Brendan, of who the hell's business is it, what you buy, if it's any legal product, simple question for you. If the lockdown didn't work the first time in Britain to end COVID-19, why are they trying it a second time?
Well, that's the big question. You know, we were told when the lockdown was first brought in late March across the whole country, we were told it would last 3 weeks. Boris Johnson said it was a 3-week lockdown that would just help the NHS. That's all it was designed to do. It somehow stretched on to 4 months. Now it's coming back in different versions in a patchwork of lockdowns across the country. And now the aim is not simply to alleviate pressure on the NHS, but to stop anyone from getting COVID, which is absolutely mental. You cannot stop a virus in its tracks once it's out. So this forever lockdown we're living under is completely surreal, and it's giving the authorities this extraordinary power over the most intimate parts of our lives. They're telling us who we can visit, who we can hug, whether or not we'll have a normal Christmas, whether we can buy books. The good thing about this second wave and second lockdown is that people are tiring of it. People have had enough of it, precisely, James, because they're asking the same question that you've just asked, which is, if it didn't work the first time round, why on earth should we believe that it will work the second time round?
Lauren.
With the new powers that we've given our states and the complacency of people in the face of them, do you think the world can ever turn back to normal after COVID?
Well, you know, everyone's talking about the new normal, which to my mind is the most terrifying phrase of our time. You know, the new normal is essentially permanent social distancing, everyone wearing masks all the time, everyone staying away from other people, living in a state of fear, waiting for the state to tell them what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. There are lots of people who would want to propel the world into this so-called new normal, this dystopian nightmare of constant control and constant fear. And I think unless we start pushing back now against these measures, whether it's in Victoria, in Wales, in parts of the US, then I do think the new normal fan club are going to be successful. So that's what's up for stake. I think that's a good question. How can we ensure that the world gets back to normal? That's what's at stake right now.
Well, we often talked as well about the culture wars, and I was on a bit good piece of news from Britain. Kemi Badenoch, who's the Equalities Minister, who you would think would be some kind of woke cultural warrior. She is an absolute legend. She's tackled the whole thing of white privilege and all the rest of it head on. Have a listen to her here. So she's been speaking about the whole idea of critical race theory and how it should be abolished and how it itself is basically racist. Have a listen.
I've been told of white Black Lives Matter protesters calling, and I'm afraid I apologize for saying this word, calling a black armed police officer guarding Downing Street a pet. That is why we do not endorse that movement on this side of the House. It is a political movement, and what would be nice would be for members on the opposite side to condemn many of the actions that we see this political movement, instead of pretending that it is a completely wholesome anti-racist organization. There is a lot of pernicious stuff that is being pushed, and we stand against that. We do not want to see teachers teaching their white pupils about white privilege and inherited racial guilt. And let me be clear, any school which teaches these elements of critical race theory as fact, or which promotes partisan political views such as defunding the police without offering a balanced treatment of opposing views, is breaking the law.
Brendan, what a legend.
Yeah, Kemi Badenoch is a rising star in Boris's government, and She's an incredibly intelligent MP, and I think the best thing about her is that she's not scared of the woke elites. She's not scared of the PC tyranny. She will speak her mind, and she will criticize Black Lives Matter, critical race theory, and all these other things that we're all supposed to bow down to, you know, literally take the knee to. So she's very outspoken. She's very clear-headed, and lots of people in this country really admire her. I think the key point she made, which was so true, is that this poses as an anti-racist theory, and Black Lives Matter poses as an anti-racist movement, but actually it's rehabilitating racial thinking and rehabilitating the racial imagination through constantly telling us we have to think about race all the time, depicting white people as privileged oppressors and black people as permanent victims. It's a very divisive ideology, and I think it's great that a government minister is finally speaking out against it.
Hear, hear. Thanks, Brendan O'Neill. Thanks so much for staying up late to talk to us on Outsiders. I urge Outsiders fans and viewers to go and look up Spiked Online, subscribe to Spiked Online, which is Brendan's magazine, which he does such a terrific job with. Thanks, Brendan, so much for coming on Outsiders, and keep safe there in lockdown lunacy.
And this is why we prep. And this is why I do these types of videos, to give out information like you just seen. You can research this on your own, to inform the general public, to prepare yourselves. But they're not going to tell your mainstream media to prepare yourselves. Do you have everything you need? Have you taken inventory of everything that you have in your preps and in your home? Do you have a bug out bag? Always keep a bug out bag. I was also looking at another video earlier. I'm going to do another a video too. Somewhere in Italy, there was a terrible earthquake, and these people had to just run out with whatever they had on. They probably was not had enough time to pack things and get things. Matter of fact, the people who was doing the documentary went into these houses, and you could see that these people left because there was an earthquake. The houses began to crumble, and there was rocks because they were on top of a mountain. It was like a residential area on top of a mountain, and these rocks falling on their houses. A lot of people didn't make it, and those who did make it, now they're at the mercy of the government. People can't even go back to their homes right now. The people who are doing the documentary, they couldn't disclose where this area is, so where this area is that this occurred, because in fear that people would go and rob the things that these people had. Take these things out of these people's houses. We just don't know what kind of situation we may be facing today or tomorrow. You may have all your preps one place, and God forbid something happens, they're gone. And this is why I always tell you guys, it's very important to store your preps in different places. It's very important. You have all your preps in one place, God forbid there's a tornado or a hurricane or a flood, an earthquake, all of that stuff gone. Then, God forbid, you have to be at the mercy of the government at a FEMA camp because you need food or water, supplies. So, you guys, I'd like to just encourage you to just, everybody don't have money like that. Just do what you can when you can. Every little bit help. I don't care if you have to beg. Get what you need. Try to get some kind of extra income. I know money's tight for everybody. I know that jobs are really, there's not a lot of jobs out there right now. People don't want to risk their health, and I do understand that. But whatever it takes for you to prepare yourselves and your families, you can do it. You can always go to zanherald.com. I have land generators. I have some water barrels now. If you guys are in a need of water barrels, they're way cheaper than they are on other sites. Non-perishable items. I have personal protective gear. And I always encourage you guys, you don't have to get these things from me. Of course, I'm going to state the things that I do have that's accessible to the public. But I just want you to get it and be prepared. If you like what you're hearing, give me a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel. You can leave a comment. Until next time, you guys take care of yourselves and prepare. ZanHerald.com.